Welcome to Epstein, Becker, Green's Employment Law This Week podcast. I'm George Whipple. After months of campaigning and a great deal of uncertainty, the 2024 presidential election has concluded. Donald Trump was victorious, and he will return to the White House in January. As the country prepares for the transition of power, one issue we wanted to examine is how the incoming Republican administration may affect union activity during the next 4 years. According to the National Labor Relations Board, during the Biden administration, the number of union election petitions more than doubled. In addition, in fiscal year 2024, the NLRB received 24,578 cases. That's the highest in over a decade. The Biden administration and the NLRB have been aggressive in pursuing policies and enforcement priorities that promote activity. Just last week, in a case involving Starbucks, the NLRB overturned a 40-year precedent to restrict employers' ability to describe the consequences of unionization to employees. The incoming administration can make some immediate changes here, such as replacing the NLRB General Counsel. But replacing board members takes more time, and other factors beyond executive policy impact the organizing environment. The courts have both limited and expanded protections for union organizing. For example, the Fifth Circuit revived a pilot union lawsuit for retaliation against union activity based on recent Supreme Court precedent. On the other hand, a series of cases challenging the way NLRB members are appointed are working their way through the courts, setting up the possibility that President Trump could have a more immediate policy impact. Another issue may be high-profile strikes and work stoppages, like the recent Boeing strike. These labor actions could continue during the new administration, as workers push for new benefits and protections. The use of AI and automation in the workplace represents a growing concern among workers, an issue that was front and center in the Boeing strike. The machinists also demanded a return to traditional pension plans, a benefit that Boeing did not include in the final offer that ended the strike. These factors are increasing the appetite for unionization among workers. The spike in union activity during the Biden administration was also, in part, a reaction to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. That included pay stagnation, office shutdowns, supply chain disruption, and inflation. We may see these pressures ease in a more stable post-pandemic climate. All of these factors and more could impact both the appetite for unionization and the options available to employers. One thing is certain, we'll be watching developments in this space closely so we can bring you the insight and the analysis you need. That's it for this week. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
This podcast is presented by Epstein, Becker, and Green, PC. All rights are reserved. This audio recording includes information about legal issues and legal developments. Such materials are for informational purposes only and may not reflect the most current legal developments. These informational materials are not intended and should not be taken as legal advice on any particular set of facts or circumstances, and these materials are not a substitute for the advice of competent counsel. The content reflects the personal views and opinions of the participants. No attorney-client relationship has been created by this audio recording. This audio recording may be considered attorney advertising in some jurisdictions under the applicable law and ethical rules. The determination of the need for legal services and the choice of a lawyer are extremely important decisions and should not be based solely upon advertisements or self-proclaimed expertise. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.